to repeatedly decline to endorse her reelection. But Sheriff Smith's repeated mismanagement of the jail, particularly as evidenced by horrible incidents in recent years, has destroyed lives and violated the most basic civil rights of its denizens, including the death of Michael Tyree in 2015, the severe head injuries incurred by Andrew Hogan in 2018, severe spinal injury suffered by Martin Nunez in 2019, and then most recently, late last year, that horrible attack of 31 inmates against a single individual in the jail that lasted some 7 minutes. As a former criminal prosecutor, I believe in the necessity of jail detention to serve public safety. But in any civil society, the safety of inmates themselves must also be protected, and they must not be condemned to some dystopian tenure Hunger Games. Under Sheriff Smith's leadership, the Sheriff's Office has engaged in extensive efforts to conceal the facts around these and other incidents, most palpably by refusing to share information with the County Office of Correction and Law Enforcement Monitoring, as well as the County Auditor. We have increasingly learned of these revelations in recent weeks from public documents. Additionally, I have also learned that for several years, Sheriff Smith required officers from other police departments to turn off their body-worn cameras when bringing combative arrestees into the county jail, thereby precluding any video evidence of potential abuses by correction officers that might come from the body-worn cameras of those external police departments. After repeated objections from local police chiefs, Sheriff finally halted that mandate in June of this year. In addition to these very obvious concerns, Sheriff Smith has created a pay-to-play culture within her office. Beyond the indictment of Sheriff Smith's top assistants in a bribery scheme, Sheriff Smith has also promoted the head of her deputies union to captain only 1 month after her 2018 reelection, and only after that union contributed $300,000 to her reelection effort. And that same union leader saw her total compensation nearly double in a matter of a few years. Santa Clara County taxpayers, the majority of whom reside in my city of San Jose, have footed the bill for 8-figure payouts on civil settlements, verdicts, and have paid some $450 million for improvements to the jail and their operations mandated by consent decrees, all in response to the failures of management by the sheriff. The Mercury News editorial board has repeatedly called for Sheriff Smith's resignation, attributing her behavior to, quote, either corruption or incompetence. Regardless of whether corruption or incompetence best explains Sheriff Smith's failures, either suffices to compel her resignation. Happy to take any questions.
Mayor, what do you think about the what you just said? Do you think it's incompetence or do you think it's corruption?
I'll leave it to our residents to come to their own conclusion. It may be both, but in either case, there's no question that Sheriff Smith must resign.
Mayor, these problems have been going on for a long time.
Why now?
What actually, my question was, these problems have been coming for a long time,
yes,
as you said. What did it take for you to finally take this step? Was there one thing that put you over the top?
No, it's been an accumulation of factors. Certainly I learned quite a bit from reading the county documents that came to light over the last week, in my own inquiry, learning about the instructions to other police departments to turn off their body-worn cameras. All these factors contribute to my conclusion, but obviously October of last year, the decision to decline to cooperate with the grand jury investigation of her own staff over bribery charges relating to her own reelection, and to decline to do so for fear of self-incrimination, that should disqualify anyone from serving in any law enforcement capacity, let alone as the highest ranking law enforcement officer in the county.
Have you had any response from the sheriff?
I have not reached out. I don't know.
Sir,
Over
Mayor,
here, over here, please, one at a
I'm sorry,
time.
Mayor.
Yeah.
Oh, the fact Oakland, she continues to also stall, whatever word you want to use.
Yeah.
I talked to the county attorney. She will not cooperate with Oakland with the oversight. Does that concern you? And then the fact that the federal appointed oversight says, well, there's been some improvements. She points to that. The totality, where are we now in your mind? And again, I asked Supervisor Simidian, where does it come on your plate? What did you give her not enough funding? Did the supervisors not give her? Where do we end up in all this? Does everybody bear some responsibility for this?
Well, let me say, I don't think the problem is funding. $450 million is no table stakes. County taxpayers have invested a lot of money in that jail, and it is still this dystopian place of horrible suffering, and we simply don't have good management. So there's no amount of money that can compensate for bad management, and that's what we have right now under the sheriff.
Mayor,
Jesse?
if the sheriff does not resign, do you think that she should be indicted by the district attorney?
I don't want to comment on ongoing criminal investigation. I'm not privy to all those documents or the evidence, and so I really leave that to the district attorney to decide. I'm a recovering deputy DA. I don't serve in that capacity now, so probably good to leave it to the experts.
What does your legal gut tell you?
I learned a long time ago not to comment on my legal gut.
Mayor, do you think that there will be other local leaders that will join you in calling for her resignation?
I certainly hope so. The county is going to consider this matter tomorrow. I expect there'll be a lot of discussion. I think what we're seeing clearly from at least two of the county supervisors is a call to move forward with further investigation, bringing a lot more documents to light for the public. I think that's going to be critical. And I think as more of that information comes to light, I think we will see others step in. I think it's important for me to start. Obviously, I represent the majority of residents in this county in my role, and as someone who has spent part of his career in law enforcement, I think I have some insights into the challenges that law enforcement agencies have had routinely with the department under her leadership. And I don't in any way cast aspersions on the deputies who are working very hard, the women and men in the sheriff's office, the department who are working very hard every day to keep us safe. I applaud their work, but my concern is entirely with the leadership.
Mayor,
Over here, please. Thank you.
Two questions. The Andrew Hogan case, you referred to county documents. I know Supervisor Simidian has seen those, but can't because of confidentiality, can't talk about them. That's what he's tomorrow going to call for to be
Right.
public. Have you seen those documents? And is that contributed by what he says it disturbs him?
No, I have not seen those documents.
Second question, he's also calling for the Attorney General to come investigate. Would you join him in that?
Yeah, certainly, and I think it's probably not a bad idea, frankly, for the U.S. Attorney to take a look. But I know the county is going to be making those referrals, and they'll be discussing extensively. I'll leave it for them, since they are closest to those issues. I think this could all be, we could all save a lot of time if we simply had the sheriff resign.
Over
Mayor,
here,
Mayor,
and then Jesse.
yeah, Mayor, she's been reelected several times. No other sheriff has served, I don't think, as long as she has. What do you say to all those supporters over all those years that she's been able to, continue to be reelected in this county?
Well, I think her conduct and her leadership has really betrayed those supporters. And I don't think anyone who voted on either side of those elections wanted to support a sheriff who would decline to cooperate with a grand jury criminal investigation of her own staff involving bribery that would support her own reelection. I'm confident that when voters are made aware of all that information, they'll ultimately make the right choice, and if that's the case in her next reelection bid, I'll certainly be informing them about what's at stake.
Jesse?
Mayor, are you concerned that she still is the duly elected sheriff of this county, and as such she has the authority and power that goes with that there could be further abuses today, tomorrow, next month, etc.?
This is exactly why I'm calling for her resignation. There could be a lot of investigation around all of these incidents. We obviously already have one that's underway with the district attorney. There's a suggestion of bringing in the attorney general, U.S. attorney, and so forth. This is an enormous amount of resources, enormous amount of time, taxpayer money that is being invested in investigating a series of leadership failures by this sheriff, and she would do the public a great favor by simply resigning.
Follow-ups? All right.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Spanish?
Do we need Spanish?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Great. Okay. Let's get my glasses out.
Wait, wait, wait.
Do you guys need one-on-ones? Or what do you?
No.